Day 4.
Day 4. That's right.
Day 4, Egypt. So yesterday. Oh, so I can say it over. Day 4, Egypt.
Yes. So it's been a wonderful day. We've enjoyed ourselves. We've seen a lot.
Yeah, and got those pyramid thighs again.
Yes. Now those pyramids are no joke.
Okay, so we went to Saqqara and saw everything at Saqqara.
It was neat going to the burial sites and actually seeing. I mean, they bury everything. So to their precious, I would say, cattle, right?
It's funny to think about. I was thinking about those granite tombs, and we're still buried today in concrete boxes, and so they were in granite boxes, and some of those were inscribed with writing and praises for the afterlife to make sure that that whole blessing was around them in their death, so they can go to the good place.
But I thought it was so interesting about that actually allowing the cattle to go as well. That I guess you would want.
Yeah, they need
in your next life.
In the next life.
Exactly. So take everything that you need.
Right. And I remember him saying something about magic. They would say like a magic, he didn't say spell, but like a spell to help them. So when people come to bring offerings to the king or to whoever is buried, even if they didn't bring offering, it would the writing on the wall would help would create some type of offering to help send them.
Yes.
So regardless of if the people were able to bring offerings or not, they would still be blessed with that magic.
And even so, so I like that. So even if someone else hasn't blessed you, you'll still receive your blessing. Yes.
So we saw the step pyramid. One thing I didn't realize about the step pyramid is that it was on a compound. We were in the area that was, so it's a big courtyard. And in front of the courtyard was the step pyramid. Before you got to the courtyard, we went down a hallway full of columns. In the columns, there were at one point statues of the king. I think that was Zoger. But all of those, of course, are in museums. So nothing is left. It's all ruins, basically. Everything of value is in various museums around the world. There's some in Cairo. Most are in Britain. I think they stole the most stuff, and people still pay a lot of money, and they come through there to see those. I know some are on rotation because they visit different cities.
Yeah.
But it's everybody's stuff. So everything we see basically in Egypt is ruins, and all the valuable stuff is on display at the museums.
Yeah, to the point where even when, I guess, the historians came, they're finding empty tombs.
Yeah.
Because they have, raided them and...
Yeah, it was a huge compound, though.
That's sad to me. I'm like, really?
You walk from one side to the next side, and you can only imagine. So really, in a sense, these were whole cities. If you think about it, you think about all the areas we walked in. The only thing we're looking at is, we'll say, like the holy place or the church or...
Exactly.
The town center.
Exactly.
So you can imagine...
Would, I guess, commune.
Yeah. So all those other places we're driving up to, that would be the city folk. If you could imagine that. And so you have all these columns and all these colors and the pyramids. Even the step pyramid was aligned with limestones. So, right now it's all ruined, but before it was all perfect and polished and right.
Do you remember the actual red? What's the red coming from?
I don't know.
Okay.
I thought it was the dirt, but I don't know.
Okay.
But that's because
I'm trying to think of the stone.
I'm close to red dirt.
Yeah.
And so we see red dirt all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
So we climbed all the way up up the pyramid, the steps on the outside, and then we went up the pyramid on the inside, and that was some work. I thought it was going to be worse than it was, because remember a few days ago we walked in a pyramid, and to me that one was harder.
Yeah, even though these were larger in a sense, or deep, so they had a bit more depth to them. It wasn't as challenging. I feel like they kind of prepared us, so it was like steps to it.
So I think it was a mental thing. Because he kept saying it was, I don't know how many feet, but all these feet that we had to climb. And I think half the feet were outside because we had to walk all the way up the steep steps. But once we got up there, you know, at that point, you're walking straight up. I think the biggest thing inside of the pyramid is that it's small. So you have to bend down and you have to crawl. So you have to engage your thigh muscles, is what I mean by pyramid thighs. It feels like you're doing leg lifts.
She's coined a new phrase, pyramid thighs.
But it was cool. It was cool to see. We saw a lot. We always see a lot.
Yes. How did you feel about the prayer?
I like that. So what I think about the prayer, I think because I know that in some areas, we haven't gone to the temples yet. We'll start going to the temples tomorrow, day after tomorrow. But I think in some areas, I remember Dr. Ben wouldn't go in certain temples because they're holy places. So a lot of tourists will go in them. But to him, these are holy places. We weren't supposed to go in there. They're sacred. And I think that helps. Now, I think it helps kind of justify, not really justify, but it's like we know we're in a holy place that we shouldn't be in. So instead of us just coming in and look and take pictures, let us at least thank these people for allowing us to see this information and for preserving it for us to see, and let us show our appreciation for being here. So that's what I think that was about.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that really kind of gave me a bit some peace, you know, and just being, you know, I guess, of Ghanaian descent, always, you know, understanding as far as like the libations. Yeah. And it really felt like we were really paying homage and really giving respect to.
Right.
You know.
It let you know, because most of the time you go on the looky-loo tour.
Yeah.
That's the saying, yes. But you go to these places, you go to ruins. I've been to ruins before, and you just look at it. And so you don't really have in-depth knowledge of it. They might have a sign or something to tell you, which none of these places have signs. No. So if you don't do research before, if you're not on a tour like this one where you get all of this information, you don't know what you're looking at. Yeah, so you go in and you take pictures and you like cheese, but you have no idea who these people are, where they come from, why they did it, the importance of it. And one thing he pointed out a lot was the architecture.
Yes.
So, you know, he kept saying,
and the reason why, like, he actually explained the stories. So we're not just looking at the, I never say this word right, but the hieroglyphics. Yeah. We're just, you know, being spectators. You know, we're not actually understanding the story behind it. So I really appreciated Brother Kwesi for, you know, Dr. Kwesi for actually informing us, you know. And
so they helped a lot.
Bring light to it.
And so it brings it all together. And it's right, it's going to be a complete transformation at the end, because it's only so much. If we think about, even like when we're in the lectures in the evening, we're getting all this information, and it's still going by fast. You hear it, you see it, and it's like, hold on, wait, what's going on? What's going on? And so you start to piece it together, but in a sense, it's so much piled into 2 weeks. And you can understand why it takes people 30 and 50 years of study to really get a good grasp. We only get a snippet. We only get enough to know, you know, an idea of what it is and some type of appreciation.
Exactly.
But there's so many pyramids. Some of them are deteriorated, but there's so many pyramids. Mer is what he said they were called.
Oh, okay.
The Greek call them pyramids, so that's where we get that term from.
Okay.
House of Fire is what the Greeks called it.
House of Fire.
But I can't remember what Mer means. But either way.
And I'm really impressed with our ancestors, just as far as, you know, their innovations.
Their thought process.
Yeah, and seeing these images, like the hieroglyphics, and understanding these are 3D images, you know? Yeah. Like, you step back, and
it's like they're coming off the wall.
Yeah, and it is magical.
You really
like,
have to see that.
For a moment, I was really like, are the ancestors talking to me? I mean, because it really kind of flows as you're going across the wall. Yeah. Because it is 3D, and even the lighting in the room kind of makes this, I don't know, it's like almost seem mystical, you know.
Wall, and I want you to look at it and watch what happens. Raise your hands up. I'm not talking about the veterans. I'm talking about those that never been here. Raise your hand up if you see something.
Oh, yeah.
What do you see?
3D.
Yeah, it does look 3D. Yeah.
It does.
Dimensions like it's raising up off the wall. Look at that. Nothing new under the sun. Over 4,000 years ago, and that's still going on, brothers and sisters. Raise your hand if you see it. 3D dimensional. Look at that. It's like little bubbles, right? That's right. What makes King James Version more sacred than this? No, this is about spiritual dialectical laws of opposites. I don't care what the West is brainwashing your mind into. That's right. It's the energy. Long before these Bibles and their first Bibles were written in Alexandria, Egypt. Why? Because they were copying the Greeks.
But it's very
powerful, engaging, exciting.
Yeah, to be honest, I will have to say, walking in even the catacombs, you're almost a bit speechless.
Yeah,
it can be a bit overwhelming.
And when you remember that this is 4,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago, and that's one of the things we talk about sometimes is we don't realize how advanced the culture was. We're looking at it from behind. Other people telling us what we're looking at. They make it seem like it's not that big of a deal. It's a huge deal.
But I understand why they're saying it's not a big deal, because if you actually understand it and you see it and you're like, these are my African ancestry and we're African, like these are black people. It is powerful, and it reminds you of just who you are. So I understand why you would want someone to just kind of, brush by it, because, the way we've been indoctrinated that, you're really just not that important. You really are less than, and no,
you realize that these structures, like even today, people have trouble making a true equilateral pyramid. Like that's some massive information, like to be able to, because you can't, when you start it, you have your design, you can mess up anywhere. One mess up will destroy it. It won't be equal after that.
Even those that have tried to reconstruct those pyramids,
they can't do it.
They can't. Now that material, now those rocks are, actually hindering the real, pyramid. So it's almost like a, I guess what's the reverse? We're trying to preserve it, but no, it's actually creating damage. So it's like,
yeah, their attempts to fix it is making it worse.
Thank you.
So, yeah, so it's just a lot. It is
a lot.
It's a lot.
You see, I hardly have words for it. I'm just like,
right. We're trying to articulate something. You just got to see it. I mean, we take pictures and post pictures and video, but to see it is different, and then to have someone who actually knows what you're looking at to be able to explain, and you can ask questions and to explain it is amazing. And I could never do that on my own. I would not get it.
No,
I would not get it. I was
I'm
like,
so thankful for the experience, and to have someone that is truly an educator. We joked the other day that basically when we're out observing everything is kind of like our research portion. This is our class.
We're in the field.
Yeah, we're in the field.
And then we come back and we get...
this is like the lab. Excuse me. So, so when we're in the field, that's the lab
That's the
work,
lab, yeah.
And then we come back for lecture, so it truly feels like...
Yeah.
I'm going to grad school.
Thank you. I'm probably going to write something up afterwards because...
Give myself a certificate.
My thesis.
Exactly. But it's powerful and it's knowledgeable. I mean, it's so much.
It's great.
Yeah.
Until day 5. Okay, cool. Day 5. And extremely long day. I think it was the most trying.
Because it was busy.
Yeah,
it was a lot of movement.
It was travel day, so
yeah.
I had a feeling and so I think we got up early, and it wasn't that early. We got to get up late.
Yeah, we were able to get up late.
Breakfast was at 8. Well, we'll call it
late. Like we slept till noon or anything.
We got up, we went to the papyrus plant, or whatever you call it, a place that makes original papyrus, and it's super easy.
Yes, and we actually got to see how they actually cut it from,
it
from
took
the beginning
all of
to
2
the
seconds.
End. Yeah, it was
maybe
nice.
5 minutes, but cut it open, grind it out.
I was impressed that it is waterproof.
It's waterproof.
I mean, it lasts. It does not have an expiration date.
Yeah.
So if you're
think I'm gonna give me a
papyrus or papyrus, I'm not quite sure.
Papyrus plant.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the pronunciation, but if your plant or your paper, I should say, is getting old, that's probably a banana leaf. That's not a papyrus plant because it does not age, and so that was interesting all in itself.
So we learned from, he had already warned us at the lecture the night before. He told us some of the things we'll see. We saw it on the slides, that we were going to the museum, and they do not have air, and that oxygen will not be reaching our brains, and we will not be able to focus, and blah, blah, blah. And boy, I asked myself several times at this museum, I think this is worse than Pyramid Day. I think this is worse than being outside, under the sun, climbing steps, going through a small, tight space in a pyramid. I think this is worse. It was so hot.
But also, you have to understand with the pyramids, you are, in a sense,
it's cooler in there.
Yeah,
it really
covered.
is.
You know, they were.
You cover your underground or in the ground. Yeah,
let me tell you,
it's a lot cooler
because it is. It's cooler, even though it's 100 and something outside. You don't feel it.
Yeah.
So we sweat more really when we're outdoors than we do in the pyramid.
And when we were in the museum.
Oh my gosh, that museum.
So the only room that had AC. Oh, we didn't see the jewelry room, did we?
No, we didn't.
But the only room that had AC was the King Tutankhamun's room and the jury room. But we didn't see the jury room.
Those are newer areas too.
Oh, okay. So I have never looked forward to seeing anything Tutankhamun until yesterday. I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait. When do we get there
to see him?
Okay, because it is so hot,
and it really does. It's like it prohibits you from thinking and thinking clearly.
Yeah, he was so right about that.
I mean, I think my mood. That's when my mood changed when we left there.
Yeah,
like I was done. You know, it was
because it was already a long day, and it was already a long day at that point.
Mm-hmm. And the crowd, it gets a bit crowded
so many people there, and then us trying to get together. It's a lot of us,
and to actually hear him with everyone.
Yeah, we couldn't hear.
It was a bit chaotic, I will say, but I appreciate those lectures before.
Yeah, the night before, and he said that he warned us, and
yeah, he was right.
When we were there, we were like, you know what? I'm so happy he showed us these images and told us what we need to look out for before we went, because otherwise I would have just been like, you know what? I can't. And honestly, I had a realization while we were there, because it's so much stuff. It's so much stuff. It is so much stuff. And it was like, they didn't leave anything. Can you imagine somebody going through your family's plot, raiding everything in there, going in your house, taking everything, putting it on display for your descendants to come pay to look at it? Can you imagine that?
So you buried your mother, and you know she had this favorite necklace that she wore, and so you buried her with that necklace. And then to see it now on display, that means they have dug her up. You know, I mean, it's disrespectful at the end of the day.
Yeah, and just to know that the most valuable stuff is not there. Yeah. People have that stuff somewhere. We're looking mostly
their personal collections now.
They pass down to their descendants.
Yeah. Like,
the descendants who owned it.
Yeah. You know.
And so it kind of hits you when you see, you know, relic after relic, doll after doll. You see these over and over again. Like in some areas, there's like hundreds of them just lined up. And I'm like, whoa, they didn't leave anything. And then when we went to the temple the day before Saqqara, there was those spaces, and I wonder what was in those spaces because I didn't connect. Either way, a lot of those, they took them out from the temple, so they were still intact when they originally saw them. Took them out of the temple, so these big, huge granite structures, and they put them in a museum. So when you go to see the ruins, is what we've been calling them, but you know that's what you call it after it's being
you've ravaged through.
Yeah. They've been rummaged and ravaged, and you know, and you see it, and you see all this. You see this order, but it's like, why is this order? If you were able to see it in its original form before they plundered it and took it out and put it in a museum or put it in a personal collection, you would have known what it looked like. And so, yeah, it was statue upon statue upon statue, but they're all in the museum. And they had so much stuff. She said it on our way out. So much stuff that they don't know what to do with it.
They don't.
You walk outside
it's
and there's
everywhere,
sitting on the side.
On the side. I mean, just. It is not even displayed accurately. It's just there. And I thank God for even this lecture. And not even the lecture, but having a real tour guide. Yeah, you wouldn't appreciate it if you didn't. No, I wouldn't know what I'm looking at. What is this? Is this a rock? You know, I mean.
That's all, and that's what it looks like. And it's all destroyed in a sense. And there's dust on half of the stuff.
Oh, and they're not even clean, you know, keeping
it's not even dust though. We're looking from the top to the bottom, and you see a cake. If your mom saw that on your table, you die. It's just like,
and you know it was thick too.
Yeah,
it looked like sand. Actually,
that's how thick it was.
Because that's what I was thinking at first, and I was like, oh, it's kind of like sand. Then I thought to myself, dang, they haven't done anything.
Everything's not covered. There was one point we were looking at a statue, and they had a little barrier. But I mean, seriously, you just walk around and somebody put their kid up there and they took pictures.
And you know better. It says "Do not touch," and then there was an actual guard. You know, the little barrier, like you said, around it. And it's like, how dare you put your child... Like, we're not really thinking of these things as...
sacred items.
Exactly.
They look like... I don't know what they look like. I guess they look like something somebody left for you to gawk at. I guess that's what it looks like. But that's not what it is.
So, yeah, we're not really keep holding it sacred. Or I shouldn't say we, but
right. It ain't our fault.
Yeah. Yeah. But the museum itself, you know.
Somebody was like, we don't appreciate this stuff. And I said, we were enslaved when this stuff was rummaged. I don't know how we appreciate what. We trying to live.
Yeah.
It
was being stolen. You know.
That's another story. While our stuff was being stolen, we were being stolen. I don't know how much stuff we could do. what we could do as far as appreciation. We still trying to live over here.
So it's a lot.
Yeah. So anyway, we left there.
That was
super tired, super hot, sweating, tired, hot. And we went to eat on the boat.
Yes, that was nice. So we got to eat on the canal. Well, on a boat on the canal.
Not the canal, the now.
Did I say the canal?
Yeah.
Scratch that.
It's because it rhymes.
Yeah. So we got to eat on the Nile. And it was nice. You know, we really needed that time just to kind of let loose.
Yeah, because they played a little music and let people
just let their hair down, literally.
Because we knew what was coming. On the other hand, I kept thinking, because I was already super tired, and I was like, oh crap, we got this 10 o'clock flight.
10 o'clock flight.
The airport is probably my least favorite place. If not my least, definitely over there with.
But I must say, the transition was very smooth. The the airport, the flight attendants, everyone was very accommodating.
They were much better than.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good flight. It was actually an easier flight, to be honest.
It wasn't about an hour.
yeah. Let me not act like. But yeah, it was only an hour, so they only had to deal with us for so long. And it was smooth. Yeah. I will say, from what we can see so far, you know, Luxor is beautiful.
Check-in was smoother too. Everything was smoother about this.
Yeah, the people here are a little bit more humbler. Yeah,
they met us with hibiscus tea.
Yeah, so nice.
We were so tired. We were like, "Can I get my room key? Because I gotta go sleep."
Yeah, and they just came in serving us.
We didn't get into what, midnight?
Yeah, it was late.
Almost 1.
Yeah, it was late. I just know it was late. But I was excited about this hotel. I was thinking, okay, we coming on up. You know, yeah, I was excited. I love this hotel.
Well, we have more to look forward to, and yeesh.
And so much more to learn.
I'm so tired just thinking about day 5.
Yeah. So it's day 5.